It seems that many senior government officials, including the Prime Minister herself, Kun Yingluck Shinawatra, talked about the righteous petition for the former Prime Minister Kun Thaksin Shinawatra. Why all of a sudden this issue has emerged again?
Well, it all began last week when the Redshirt publication, a weekly magazine, published an article asking what happened to this petition that was submitted to the Justice Ministry in 2009, in August 2009, by the Redshirt movement. Right. And naturally, the government has to react to this. And Kun Yingluck today, she said she's not in a hurry to give in an amnesty to anyone, at least not yet. And the Justice Minister, Kun Pracha, also said that he has to take a look at the issue first because he's new in his position and there's a lot of technicality involved, so he has to take a look first. But the most interesting comment comes from Kun Chalerm Yubamdong, the Deputy Prime Minister, who said that Kun Thaksin doesn't need to be serving his jail term before he can be given an amnesty. So the most controversial comment again comes from Kun Chalerm, the Deputy Prime Minister.
It seems that this is a very highly technical legal issue. What are the main points that we should focus on?
Well, first of all, this is a petition that is not based on any legal basis. Maybe the Redshirt intended it to be like that. Right. The most important thing is this petition was signed by 3 million supporters of Kun Thaksin Shinawatra, but not by relatives of Kun Thaksin or by Kun Thaksin himself.
What was the significance of this?
Well, the laws naturally require relatives of convicts or the convicts themselves to sign the petition to be submitted to the king, and this petition does not fall into that category.
Right.
It's very important because not only the petition not signed by Kun Thaksin and relatives, Kun Thaksin himself also has not served his sentence, jail term yet.
Right. If I understand correctly, it seems that the Redshirts were trying to make His Majesty the King to exercise his judgment on something which is quite unprecedented.
Yes, this is quite unprecedented, and there are a lot of concerns among the people who believe that if His Majesty was urged to make a decision on something as controversial as Kun Thaksin,
right.
We all know that Kun Thaksin is always controversial, and a decision one way or the other will create political sentiment at least. So a lot of concern out there that if His Majesty has to make a decision, that it would involve him in politics,
which is against our custom.
Right. So naturally, a lot of people are voicing this concern.
Okay. Right. Would there be any other possibility that the government might solve this problem by not bringing the king to be involved?
Well, something happened in 1970s after the uprising, the student uprising that overthrew the Thanom government.
Right.
After that, Thai Parliament passed a law that gave amnesty to some student activists.
Right.
If I remember correctly, there was some kind of government decree or parliamentary legislation that gave amnesty to people. So this means that it's possible for the government to bypass the royal palace in giving people amnesty. But in reality, it would be very, very difficult. Right. You cannot expect this pro-Thaksin parliament or pro-Thaksin government to initiate a law that would bring him back to Thailand without having to serve any jail term in political context. That is quite impossible.
Right. It seems that this government has been doing things that is quite controversial, and bringing this issue up is too early. It's quite sensitive for a lot of people. So we should wait and see how the government, Kun Yingluck government, will try to handle this case carefully.